Okay, welcome to the World Class Happiness channel. I'm Dominic. Today's message is about discipline over motivation. Okay, now it's probably something that we can all relate to. We've all been motivated at different times, whether it be to do some training, whether it be to eat sensibly or get up early or find a job or whatever it might be. We've all had that motivation at particular times. 1st of January is a good example. We can all probably relate to that. 1st of January we'll kind of get up and we've got that kind of go in us where we want to make changes and stuff like that. Now, obviously, come February, March, it's not quite as easy. Now, the ones who are still doing the things that they said they were going to do in January, in February and March, they're the ones who are generally going to be hitting the targets better. Okay, now, it's so easy to say we need to be disciplined, all right? Now, as an ex-athlete, ex-judo competitor, I know what that feels like to have to be disciplined. And to be honest, when I was competing, I didn't actually find it that difficult to be disciplined. I found it pretty easy, really, if I'm honest, to get out and run, to go to the gym, to go to training in the evenings, do circuit training, whatever. I always had goals and I was always kind of motivated because of the goals, short-term or long-term goals. And I guess that makes it a lot easier. But as a 42-year-old man, getting on for 43 now, and I'm no longer an athlete, I'm now just a general guy who's trying to keep some sort of general fitness up. It becomes a lot harder. Now I have to be a lot more disciplined, and of course it's still easy when I'm motivated. I've watched the Olympics or I've watched the Rocky movie. I want to go out for a run, same as everyone else. It's obviously a lot harder when you wake up in the morning and it's early, you're tired, there's snow on the ground like it is at the moment. It could be that you've done some training previously and you've got some achy muscles. Then it becomes hard, and that's something that is hard for anyone, and it really is hard for anyone. It doesn't matter. It kind of doesn't matter, despite what I've already said about when I was a competitor. It's still not 100% easy for everyone, and it doesn't matter if you're obese, it doesn't matter if you're old, it doesn't matter if you're an Olympic champion. There will be days when you're struggling and you really don't want to go, or you really don't want to be there, and they're the days that are the most important. They're the days where the differences are made, and that's the same for all of us. Okay, now I'm bringing this up today because this morning, obviously with the pandemic and stuff, I'm not working at the moment. Not the same as I was. I'm doing a few different things, but not the way that I was. So I can, at the moment, if I like, I can get up when I want. And Claire, my wife, was off as well today, and the kids, as you know, are off school. So we're all having a little bit of a lazier morning. And Claire then suddenly says, right, I'm going to go do my workout. She's on a little bit of a fitness kind of program at the moment, and she's always been quite fit and healthy. She's not on a fad diet or anything like that. She's just a little bit more motivated at the moment. And she said to me, let's go and do a workout. And I'm like, I wasn't feeling it this morning. And she said, come on, you'll feel much better afterwards. And I know from experience that she was right. And I dragged myself out of bed, really didn't want to do it. I did the workout. And then after the workout, we both decided, and I was in full agreement, and I was, just as enthusiastic to go for a run afterwards. And we both then went for a run afterwards. So the message really is, once you get started, it doesn't matter if you're the obese person who's on, in your first week training, or whether you're the Olympic champion, you'll always find that once you get started and once you kind of set the ball rolling, you'll always then want to do more. And it could be the same for a diet. It could be the same for or healthy eating plan. I hate saying diets because that suggests that you're kind of starving yourself or something like that, and I never agreed with anything like that. But when you've got that discipline, And I feel like, you know, once you get on it, you then kind of want to do more anyway. So the fact that Claire kind of encouraged me to drag myself out of bed this morning and do a workout with her was good. And strangely enough, a couple of days ago, it was more or less the other way around. I was saying, you know, come on, let's go out for a walk, and it was cold, and she was like, I don't really want to, and it's warm in bed, and we went out, and then she felt better afterwards as well. And at the moment, that's a little bit easier because we're both fairly motivated to do things. But even if you're not motivated, they really are the times where you've just got to do it anyway. And we're both fairly good at that. And even if you're not good at that, force yourself to do it anyway, because you will feel better. And I say that from a position where I kind of assume that everyone knows that. But I'm pretty certain that not everyone does know that, and not everyone does realise that, and realise that it doesn't matter who you are, what level you're starting at. If you actually start, you know, I saw a video once of a guy who was massive, and his first day was just waving his arms about, and then it progressed to walking to the fridge rather than have somebody bring things from the fridge, and it really did progress from there until in the end he sort of, you know, he was in the gym and looked in pretty good shape, really good shape. And you know, this was over a period of time, but that kind of proves that you can do it, and the more you do, the more you want to do. And I'm not certain that everyone actually understands that and realizes that. And it's the same with anything. It could be the same, you know, if you're at work and you can't get motivated to look for a job. As soon as you start looking for a job and you apply for jobs, you're then going to maybe want to apply for more. You might then get a few interviews. You might then kind of feel encouraged to do more and get more confident, or whatever it might be. And go back to myself and Claire, another quick story. A few years ago, a lot of years ago now, we were quite young at the time, we did a 50-mile walk. I can't quite remember, to be honest, why we decided to do it. That was my idea. 50-mile walk, and we did it for charity. And I said, it'd be easy. I said it'd be easy. I was, you know, obviously a judo competitor at the time, and I think I kind of said something to Claire in, you know, I think she sort of said, "Oh, walking will be, that's too easy, and maybe you should run it." And I'm like, "Well, I don't think you could do it." and that was like a red rag to a bull. And she said, "Right, well, I'm coming with you," and we both did it together. Now, from going from thinking it was going to be an easy task to where we were was an unbelievable wake-up call, to be honest. I never realised how hard 50 miles walking would be. I just assumed you could just walk all day, and it literally was all day. We weren't walking quick, but that took us in all 22 hours, which is a really slow pace, to be fair. But after 18 miles, I was literally ready to quit. And you know, you see people do the marathon every year, and you kind of think, well, 18 miles isn't that far. But for me, the thing that was kind of, I was struggling with was, again, it was freezing cold. I was struggling with it being cold because I'm not good in the cold. Bit of a jest, really. Claire wasn't as affected by it as me. And it wasn't the fact that I was really tired after 18 miles, it's the fact that we're nowhere near 50 miles. And I think that was the thing that was breaking me at the time. And Claire, at the time then, encouraged me, give me some motivation to keep going. And that sort of, like, you know, pulled me along. I decided I couldn't lose to a girl, so yeah, I carried on. But then later on, I don't know whether it was a 30-odd mile mark, Claire then sort of went down in a similar way, and then it was me. I was fine, and then we were kind of picking each other up the whole time. We kept picking each other up, and then by the end, or near the end, Claire was struggling again, I think, and then at the very end, we both ran home. We both literally ran the last bit. So yeah, it's possible to motivate each other. If you're a team, if you like, it's easier to motivate each other because you can kind of keep each other going. But what you'll find is that, you know, part of the message is when you think that you can't do it, or you're at your limit, there's always so much more you can do, loads more that you can do. And we done 50 miles. If we had a gun to our head, we probably could have done 100 miles. And you know, that's my message is, you know, never think that you're doing too much or whatever, because you're probably not doing enough. And it just takes discipline to get out and do it. And really, as soon as you start, it gets easier to do more. So if you're struggling to even start, just trust me on it. Trust me, on the fact that you get your shoes on, you lace them up, and you start walking. You do that for a few days, you're going to want to do a little jog, and then you do a jog for a few days, and you're going to start picking up the pace. And that could be the same with anything. You know, you cut out eating biscuits from the tin, and then after a while, not eating biscuits is not really a big deal. You know, it just gets easier as time goes along. So if there's ever a difficult time, just do it anyway, and then once you start in on the mission or whatever it might be, or the task, the challenge, it gets easier once you take the steps to get started. So discipline, you've got to discipline yourself. Motivation, it's easy when you're motivated. It's doing it when you're not wanting to do it. Having the discipline, that's when it's important.